my mother, do you want to come in, Mum, and sit on the ledge? Where, Mum?
Okay.
I do. She's actually the maggot. Sit on the ledge.
Do you want to speak up?
She's a great woman. Yeah. Want to come in, Liz? Come in. Okay. So, welcome everybody. Now, I know Maggie's a little nervous, and she has absolutely nothing to be nervous about. She's a wonderful person, fantastic exhibition, great venue, and lots of friends. So, nothing's really I promised Maggie that I'd be funny, and I'd be philosophical, and I'd be profound. So, you have to guess which order. So a little unknown historical fact is that the Good Friday Agreement was originally supposed to be called the Holy Thursday Accord. And after weeks and months of serious negotiations, all the principals were in the room. The world's press were massed. Senator Mitchell was on capping his pen. British government, Irish government, Royalist, nationalist communities. I'm about to sign. It was 11:45 midnight, 15 minutes to midnight, when a very small, tiny little voice was heard within the room to utter 4 words which would nearly change the course of Anglo-Irish relations. And those 4 words were, "What about Maggie Wright?" And Senator Mitchell knew instinctively. He capped his pen and looked at the crowd, and he said, "Who said that?" And the crowd parted, and there was the little wee figure in his baby robe, with all his toys thrown out of the pram, Sir Geoffrey Donaldson. And he repeated, "What about Maggie Wright?" And suddenly the 2 Jerrys looked at Martin, and they shook their heads, and they knew it was going to be a long night. Senator Mitchell ordered a couple of flasks of coffee, strong coffee and sandwiches. Tony Blair asked for the room, and Bertie asked for custard cream. The debate raged for the next day. Raged. What were they to do with Maggie Wright? What was the problem, they asked Sir Geoffrey. That's before he got his knighthood. Sir, do you know what he got his knighthood for? For his ability to say no all the time. So they asked, well, what was it that really bothered them? And he said, our identity cannot be enshrined within this community unless Maggie Wright stays within the province. And I said, well, what do you mean? Because she's everything that we're not. She's beautiful, vivacious, positive, open, creative, with joie de vivre. And he said, we can't have her in the province because we have to have her in the province because she's the polarity to what we are. Are there any loyalists in the audience here today?
Yes.
You're very welcome. You're very welcome.
Our sister.
Well, it raged for the next day. And eventually it was decided that because the nationalist community wanted Maggie to be without borders, roaming freely, bringing her love and her greatness throughout the whole island of Ireland. So eventually it was decided that she'd have to stay in the north for bank holidays, a week at Easter, a couple of days at Christmas, and the rest of the time she could come down south. And we're very glad that arrangement. So would you put your hands together and thank you for that. Lord of the South can benefit from the wonderful person that is Maggie Wright. Now, I started to know Maggie with a group of women and men who drew in the Thursday and Friday sessions at the RHA Life Drawing. And it was a very important time for us all, and even though at different stages of our development, some people coming back to art have not been tuned into art for a while, other people a little more seasoned, but we all mixed together in the one mill, and it was all a very good democratic balance. And so people were back there really rejuvenating themselves, finding their way back into making art. And Maggie was, we would say, is one such person, although you would always major art, but there was a kind of a hiatus. And so Maggie was just one of the amazing participants in that group, not only during the day in the life room, but afterwards in the pub, where she really showed her stamina. And it was at those times that I seriously thought I should turn up the Good Friday Grill. Yeah, phenomenal. And phenomenal to see a Northerner buy a round. I mean, that was, sorry, that's a joke. No, Maggie is a force of nature. And she just brought great life and great crack to the proceedings, and I think everybody just enjoyed that period of time. And I remember thinking when I was looking at Maggie's drawing, and it only struck me yesterday when I was looking at these works and trying to think back, you always had a really concentrated way of drawing. Now everybody has a different approach, and I'm not saying any one is better than the other, but I always remember you sat a lot, and you drew just with a particular intensity. And when you look at the life drawings that she has, and there are some of them here today, you can see in a way the origins of the kind of themes that are running through the bigger work and the paintings that are here today. Because Maggie wasn't just looking, as a lot of people look at the life drawing as a way of just improving their means of portraying the world or representing the world through kind of figure and ground relations and looking at something modeled in light and darkness and all of those kind of things. She was actually looking more psychologically at the models, and we are blessed and with having incredible models, male and female, both Irish and international, at the life drawing sessions. And I remember a particular drawing of Des, and he just really was an older guy, and he's a stuntman in a lot of movies, and he looks like an old-fashioned Mr. Muscle, from those ads in the 50s. He's an amazing character. But you did this exquisite drawing of him, and I remember you kind of focused on the eyes, you put the eyes out, the nose, and maybe the mouth, and you left the other parts of the face a little less complete, not as fully rendered. And it was almost like you were watching, even throughout the course of the pose, you were watching different thought processes and slight variations of expressions in his face, and you were recording those as you saw them actually. So you weren't just drawing the kind of physiognomy, but you were actually drawing the psychological, the psychology behind the face. It was very interesting, and you said that at the time, and I think that's come through in all of these drawings, that there's an incredible skill set at work here, not only in just recording, but in finding a great expression and great depth within the faces that you portray. And therefore you broaden that out then to these groupings that you either witnessed, gatecrashed, or witnessed, happened upon, or deliberately went to. And they're fiestas and religious, religious celebrations in Spain, and gatherings of people in Ethiopia, women here on a road to Ethiopia that you saw through a bus window. And you're bringing that same kind of analysis whereby you're trying to find out maybe thought processes and moods and personalities behind the figures and narratives, hidden narratives within these communal events. And so you look at the jazz bar there in New Orleans, and you kind of, it's very nice because you just you just pick out various points of reference that interest you in the scene. You don't slavishly complete every aspect and every detail of the scene, but you just hone in on various things. So you get this lovely kind of reflection on your own thought processes as you delve into, and you're very, I know you got a lot of soul. And so you have, I know you like a lot of black music and American music and R&B, and that comes across in this because you're looking at and thinking about all of the people throughout time who have passed through, who have heard the music, who've heard the same tune. And so you're able to kind of bring something of that kind of sensibility to how you look at this place and how you imagine the people who went there before and are still yet.
Identify with them.
And identify with them and the people that will still come. And you do that in all of this, the women here, and it's a beautiful drawing right behind that lady's head there. It's a lovely drawing of that figure face in the lower left-hand corner, where she's the one who engages with you, and that just gives that great dynamic between her and the other lady, the other woman who's just looking out of shot. And this theme, Dancing with Bears, is kind of it's a wonderful name for starters. unless you're Leonardo DiCaprio in The Departed, and you end up in central remedial clinic for about 4 months. But don't go near bears. But no, it's a wonderful title. It's a fantastically evocative title, and we tried to figure out what exactly it was. He said it was a metaphor. It's a metaphor for engagement. I suppose it's a metaphor for the engagement of life, because you have a big appetite for life, Maggie, and you want to experience so much and travel, and you're passionate, and so that's that fundamental engagement, dancing with the bear. You know, just going for it, embracing it, not judging anybody, not seeing any kind of hierarchical orders in life. You know, respecting everybody, respecting these women, the musicians, the dancers, the people involved in the harvest ritual to celebrate the end of the winter and the beginning of the summer. So in a way, it's a broad canvas, literally, of cultures and people and moments in time that you've actually all physically experienced. And you're looking at all of the richness of that, and the richness of all of the hidden narratives behind all of those people, like the hidden narratives behind the very simple focused heads that you started with in the life room in the RHA. And I think that the well is deep, Maggie. I think that you're going to keep going, and I think that you have a very positive outlook. I think that your upbringing in the north, and when I talked my opening lines, were just a bit of fun for Maggie, because
I'd be surprised if I didn't hear something like
yeah,
that.
exactly. I have the greatest respect for the situation in the north, and I painted a portrait of Senator Mitchell, and I hope the fragility of the process will stay, and I think that you had a lot of difficult times in your youth, and I think that you were used to seeing faces in a whole different way, where a face couldn't betray something they knew, right? And so I think that so the genesis goes back to that childhood. But I mean, you've come through all that. A wonderful husband, Donny. Behind every great artist is Donny. Every artist. Give him a round of applause. And 2 wonderful children, Daniel and Marie.
Maria.
Maria. Yeah. And a great collegiate body of artists and drawers at the RHA who love you to bits, don't they? Don't you?
Yes.
Yeah. And all I can say is that it's a terrific landmark, Maggie, and may you continue. And the work is terrific, and it's only going to get better and better and bigger, and you're going to take bigger bites out of life and enjoy it all.
And I hope you'll be there for the next one.
No, I'm going to do now. I thought you were married. I thought you were. Forget about that. That's a bad joke. I will, of course, absolutely. And we all share in it, and it's a great occasion today. So it's formally opened, and there you go. Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me to come and draw with the RHA, because all of the lifers here know it's an absolute game changer to be with other artists, because it's a solitary profession. So thank you, darling.
Pleasure.
You took a lot of time doing this, and I'm very grateful. I want to thank the Signal for allowing me to have this exhibition. It's a great space and a great gallery, and I wish there were more. And everyone's been so helpful and pleasant to deal with in the Signal. I want to thank Donny, who has kept me sane and fed, and a number, 101 things besides, and running to and fro the framers and back and forth, and who are Paul and Jack Carmody, by the way, brilliant framers, and never let me down. As a friend of mine over there said during the week, you know, Maggie, when you hang your work on the wall, you hang yourself up there without disguise or camouflage. So when I look at all these beautiful faces, thanks for coming and supporting me. Have a good day, have a few drinks, and we're all going to some of us are going to the harbour afterwards for a few pints and a few chicken coujons. And it's a lovely sunny day, so have a good day. Thank you. One thing, thanks to my sister for coming from the west of Ireland.